Welcome to the Daily Whatever.
Good morning.
I am Dana Dupois.
I'm Lawrence Winterman.
Hi, Lawrence.
Hi, Dana. Welcome to our ongoing conversation that's been happening for 43 years.
What? At least 46.
47. I mean, honestly, who's counting anymore?
It's kind of just...
Kendrick Lamar just joined our chat. Welcome, Kendrick Lamar. That's amazing.
Wait, what?
I mean, I'm just reading what's on the screen.
I saw that too. Hi, Kendrick.
Like, if it's legit you, welcome.
Yeah, if you want to come,
If you want to be whatever, you are one of us, like,
right.
You are like us.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Lawrence, where's our chat? I'm trying to pull it up here on the screen. Oh, there it is. It always takes a minute, so we miss the earliest comments when we recapture them. But damn, I'm not
Karen
watching.
says, "What is the Kendrick Lamar?" Oh, Karen. Oh my goodness. Only like the rap genius of the current generation. Oh my goodness. Oh, whoops. Only like the. Let me mute myself.
Oh my God, it's a ruse. Don't worry, it's just a ruse by Fusen. She's charging $10 per DM. So
nice. Okay, well,
that's pretty smart.
Yeah. Capitalism.
Yay! Even in the latest stage, it's great.
Right.
Lawrence, how was your weekend?
It was good. It was surprisingly good, considering that last week was a bit of a shit show, no pun intended. Yeah,
I think all those puns were intended.
Yeah, all those puns were intended. Yeah. Morning, Nick. And yes, Fusen, use capitalism or lose it. Although I think I'm voting for lose it sooner rather than later.
Or at least regulate it. At least regulate it.
Right. At least regulate.
Yeah. Intend your puns, people.
Yes, ma'am.
We are all feisty this morning, Lawrence. I love it.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So still feeling better? Everything, we're good?
Yes, everything is good. Feeling better. I've been going to the gym and, actually stretching my poor muscles and, stepped into the tanner. So I got a bit of a tan, a bit of a rosy glow.
Lawrence, I am supposed to tell you that that's very bad for your skin cancer, yada, yada. I won't say that ever again.
Yes, please don't. I'm well aware.
I heard the Fran in me, my mom, and I also, growing up in South Florida, blah, blah, blah. Though I do believe, Karen wants to know, a guy named Tanner. Yeah. There was, at least here in Seattle, it was so sunny and beautiful all weekend. I had sunscreen on, but I do feel like I always miss some spots. Yeah, it was funny. I had a friend, Sunny, was like, "You should go walk here now. It's going to be so hot today." And I'm like, "Girl, I'm from Florida. Like, do you feel that way too? Even though, like, I don't claim Florida on most anything when it comes to
I just have to interject and say, Polly says, I had a rosy glow from a savage poison ivy rash, but I don't recommend that either. Yeah, no, that to be avoided. What's freaking me out is now that I'm in the Midwest, it's 90 degrees and humid. And so I walk outside and like the cicadas are doing their thing. And I'm kind of like, oh, fuck, God, this feels like South Florida. But there's no beach. Like there's no,
right.
I can drive 15 minutes and get to a beach and go throw myself into the Atlantic Ocean. Like that's not possible here.
No. Hey, speaking of beach, guess what I did this weekend?
Did you go to the beach and release some witchcraft?
I did exactly that, Lawrence.
Oh, fascinating. How did I know? Okay, first I just want to say, Fusen says that I look fantastic. Thank you, my dear. That it means a lot coming from you. And everyone else, fuck off. Only Fusen's opinion matters here.
To be clear, Lawrence, she says you look fantastic.
Oh, well, yes. All right. I read fantastic, but fantastic, that'll work.
It's also good. Yeah, I went to a place called Secret Beach, which, do you remember Secret Beach, Lawrence?
Of course.
Yes. It is literally, I think, an unmapped beach in Seattle, but it's a little pocket beach in North Seattle, and I went. The ongoing saga of my now former roommate is, in addition to leaving behind a fridge full of moldy food that I had to clean out, they left behind some of their
Yum.
witchcraft, their spells. Uh, I don't I fully understand why they're in the freezer, but I believe it had to do with, like, freezing and it was like a blocking spell, and, I inadvertently defrosted 8 of them when I cleaned the fridge out because they had all kinds of spices in them and stuff, and I thought they were like old soup that I had to clean out. But these 2 I recognized, because one was a spell that they cast for me, keep away spell, for an ex who was not behaving well, and the other was one of their spells that they did at the same time, and so I had left those in the freezer. Those were the first 2 I noticed and asked you what to do with them. What did you tell me, Lawrence?
Well, what I said was uh, that you should get rid of them and release them into the ocean. I
Yes.
didn't say open them up and read the things inside.
I only did that with the ones that had defrosted. I
Yeah.
didn't know that those were spells, and once I saw that there was stuff inside of them, I had to look at what it was in those first ones, and I do still have the notes of from those, and I nearly took them to the beach to release, and I may do it on a second visit, but I also might write about it, and so I wanna have them there for reference in case I do. Polly says send them out in SpaceX. I can't believe I'm hearing defrosted and spells in the same sentence. So, yeah, I don't know if this is, like, a thing they made up or if this is a witchy thing. I was kind of
No,
hoping Wendy.
it's a legit witchcraft thing
Okay,
that you
perfect.
you know, cast a spell where you're trying to freeze somebody out of your life, and then you put the
Yes.
spell into the freezer and literally freeze them out of your life. I may or may not have done this same thing with my wedding ring and my first husband's wedding ring and the freezer.
Okay.
And
And there's Wendy, who I know this isn't a druid thing, but I was hoping Wendy or Shar might join for this part too of freezing, defrosting hate spells that were in your freezer that you didn't cast. So what we talked about, Lawrence, was this whole idea of like, these are not my spells to keep, even though one of them was cast for me. It still feels weird having them here. There's also the idea of how this was so important to this person. Their spells were all for the same group of people. At least the notes were. Uh, but they forgot they didn't take them with. Like just a year later, they neglected them and left them behind. I have to think they're no longer important to the person who cast them. And I did not want to be the keeper of this negativity in the freezer section of my basement.
Robin is asking, does Dana throwing them into the ocean melt their spells and bring that shit person back into their life then?
That's the wonder, Robin. And so I didn't want to just toss them. And that's why I consulted Lawrence as my spiritual guru. And Lawrence suggested I send them off with intent. And so they were still frozen. It was really hot yesterday, so they were starting to melt.
Yeah.
They were still in a block in the containers. And so I walked out. I got to the beach too and didn't time this intentionally, Lawrence. Crazy high tide.
Low
And
tide.
high tide or sorry, crazy low tide. The water was pulled way further back than I've ever seen on Secret Beach, which was beautiful. But we had to walk, all the way out to where the water line was. I had Kira with me, who was just losing her mind. She was so happy. And I put the spells in the water and I did what you said, which was like, um, I'm releasing these with good intent. These are not my spells to carry nor to store. So I'm releasing them into the broader world. And as they floated away, I did see like, I saw one name on my housemates that I was like, yep, these are for the same people. But mine had been like a love note, and I could see the words sort of drifting away. And I was like, "Bye, out into the ocean." So I
Yeah.
was I did love that it happened, and then, when I did it, the tide was slowly coming back in, like, was getting bigger, so
Yeah.
I hope I wasn't supposed to do it when the tide was receding. I think it was good that the water was becoming more deep.
I I think you didn't do it wrong, right? The intent here was to turn it over to a higher power, Mother Ocean, Mother Earth. You could have buried them as well. Like I feel like you did the right stuff and you had the right intent behind it, which, was this is not your work, it's not your magic, it's not your stuff, and you're turning it over to a thing, a mother entity that can take it from you. And so, well
I love
done.
that. Thank
Frederic is
you.
here.
Yes, so let's talk about our theme for today, other than me casting spells out. I did do it live. So if you go back, you have to watch it on Dana Dubois Writes, not on Gen X, because that's where I'm going to be posting more of my just like personal things I'm doing. But yeah, if you want to watch the probably spotty video of me because I'm out on the beach, and to just see the glory of the Pacific Northwest on a beautiful bright blue sky day, it was quite beautiful actually.
Yeah. Wendy
And
says
very
you've taken the first step to becoming a druid. So I figure like in a week, you're going to come on here and you're going to be like, Ombras de tu in the leva. So the wealth the ta. And you can say,
Yeah, we're gonna need to work on that offline words. That sounded
you know
almost
what
like
that is, right?
no. It was like,
It's the beginning of a Sinead O'Connor song.
oh, I did not recognize it, but now that you say that, I know which
I
song
mean,
it
my
is.
excellent Celtic pronunciation, I'm sure, is what threw you off.
Wow, Kat, I was telling you you had to pay to see my live? I definitely meant to post that as everyone. Let me go check it after the podcast is over. Um,
Wendy says horrid. Thanks, Wendy. Anyway, today we're talking to Frederic, and
yes.
what
And
is
we
our
have
big level theme, Dana?
this is, well, we called it dating and mating because why not make it rhyme? But more specifically, we are talking about how do people meet, especially at our age and stage of life. God, why am I rhyming everything? Dating and mating and age and stage. It's going to be a week. How do we meet one another? And how do we talk about it online? I think these are kind of the broader themes. There was an incident that happened that made us reach out to Frederic about this. I'm really excited to hear his perspective. I always love having him on the show. So if we're ready, I'm going to bring him on right now.
Bring him on, bring him on. And at the end,
Okay.
we're going to talk about our summer pledge drive because that's
Yes,
right. We're extending it from July through the entire summer because I fucked it up by getting sick.
that's right. Well, Frederic, if you're listening, we'll need a
Russia,
few
if you're
minutes at the
listening,
end.
release the emails. Israel, if you're listening, release the Epstein files.
Right? Maybe we should just start doing calls to action. The release section.
What is up, Frederick?
Frederic,
What's going on, guys?
Look at
nice
that
meeting
hair and that
you.
styling beard.
I just ran a comb through it, man.
Yeah.
I need to put more care and attention that you obviously do, sir. Like 100%. It's just like,
I don't know. I did this and I'm getting lots of compliments for it, but I feel like a piece of me is missing.
well, the problem is like everybody who's told me to cut it is they always use the wrong terminology, which that's going to be a theme for me today. Is they say, well, you'll look less aggressive. I'm like, you're not selling me on it.
Right. No,
Like,
that's
Right.
you're not helping.
no, like all you're telling me is keep doing what you're doing, sir.
Right. Right. It's
Right.
working. You are
Yeah.
presenting as a big grizzly bear. It's working. Keep doing
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's like, no. I still gotta keep a little bit of that, like, what was it somebody referred to me at DCA when I had, like, because we had this black all-weather coat, right? When I worked at Piedmont, and then I would wear a black beanie, and somebody was like, "Dude, you look like Opie from Sons of Anarchy." And I was like, "You're not insulting me." Like, I don't know if that was an insult or a compliment, but I'm you know
Nick is saying the longer it is, the stronger you are. We draw strength from the length. Nick,
Yeah.
you're just setting up that
I'm
like
here to be I'm here to be a good beakinger. I mean, it's just what it is, man. You know. Yeah, so it's been an interesting weekend, to say the least for me. Yeah, I it's so I officially had my worst experience on Substack, and I decided to draw a boundary, and I'll get to that. So what started all of this is, and one, after this, for those of you tuning into this live, this will be officially the last time I talk about anything in my personal dating life. Because while I had I posted a note, which I've since deleted, and while I had a lot of overwhelming support and positivity, because I didn't anticipate the traction it would get. The negativity I got was normally way more than I'm used to, right?
Yeah. It was
From
pretty gross.
unexpected places, you know. So so I'll kind of set this up, right? So I had to take my car in for an oil change. My sister followed me to the dealership. And normally I don't go out, right? I'm either working at home on a piece or piece of creative writing for like I literally just got off a call, a business call, like for an LLC formation in New Mexico, right? So I'm the interaction I have with people is usually like this, right? It's through a screen. Um, I caregive for two people. It used to be two, and now it's just my sister. That takes up a lot of my time. I walk dogs to get out of the house. My interaction in public is very, very rare, right? So I take the car in. My sister's. I said, "Hey, you know what? Let's go for a coffee." I rarely do that. I got some time today. Let's go for a coffee. My treat. Get a little nosh. And there's a nice little place where I live in downtown. That's kind of like a little hub, right? So we pop off there. It's popping that day. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning, So it's right at and it's local, it's artisanal, but it's a little kitschy. It's right next to a bakery, so that's kind of dope. But the best way I can describe it is usually who shows up there are like the how do I say this politely? I'm not gonna say it polite. Breeder moms, right? So it's the pumpkin spice women with the blonde hair, you know,
As a
that
breeder mom, I'm gonna allow this.
right.
Fair enough.
It's like
I know what you mean, it's the stay-at-home moms with
they
the
have
yeah.
they're all dressed up, in the Patagonia,
Right.
like
Or the
vests.
Lululemon
Yeah,
because they might be going to yoga.
right, the Lululemon, or they're doing they've got the, thigh-high leather boots that they bought, and it's like, and they all kind of have this like little snotty kind of like, well, Jaden was doing really good in pre-K, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
And I don't normally talk to those folks, right? It's like, they're not ready. They're not ready for me to drop, Marx and Engels on them, man. We're not going to have that conversation, you know? So plus they're married, you know what I mean? And I go outside, I see a table opening up. These two women are grabbing their purses, and there's only three outside. Inside's noisy as hell. So I tell my sister, I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go grab this table. You get the stuff. Come out and meet me." So I go out. I'm waiting for these women to get up, and I'm backed off. I'm just like I'm standing there, and one of them turns to me and like, "Are you waiting for us to leave?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." You know, and so they're like, "Okay, well, we're leaving in a minute." Hey, no problem. Take your time. Finish your conversation. Just waiting to get the table. So they leave. I get the table. I sit down. I'm not even thinking about it. Right across from me at another table is this woman, about man, probably 10 years younger than me, maybe a little, maybe 8. So she's like, she's got the Lululemon on. She's got the hat on with the ponytail going through it, right? Like she had to rush out, get her coffee. She's on the laptop, just working away, lasered in, focused. The thing about me, like what I find attractive is that's the kind of stuff I find attractive. It's just like,
Right.
baby girl's on her business. She's trying to, I love it. Right. I'm just like, ooh, what's this right here? Like, so
You think she's
like,
working, but she's actually on Twitter posting about how Epstein is a Mossad spy.
no, I did a little peeky. I did a little peeky peek when we walked by because I got up and then walked by, did a little glancy glance. And I was like, oh, she's on her computer. She's doing work. She got a document open. It's like, okay. So my sister's talking to me. I'm half paying attention at this point because my brain's like, all right, man, Are we going for this or are we not? Are we going to hit her up or are we not? And I'm debating it because, well, she's busy. She might not want to be bothered, but you ain't never going to see her again, more than likely. So this is it. You
Your
know,
one chance.
that's it. It's just, so it's like, okay.
Did you hear Hamilton in the background of your head? Like, I am not
Yeah.
throwing away my shot.
No.
Yeah, for sure.
No, usually
Jesse
it's
is
like,
crazy.
usually for that, something like I usually have hip hop playing in my head for something like that, and so it was just, or like some kind of Rocky theme, like dun, 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 dun.
Okay, I'm with you.
But
We're
so,
getting the vibe.
so I'm just like, okay, man, the chances of you getting a yes are very low, right? And I'm going through all the reasons I shouldn't do it, that I should say no, right? Leave her alone. But then there was a part of me that was like, bro, you always say no recently, right? You always find a reason not to say something. Go over there, introduce yourself, make it quick, give her the out, right? She says no, keep it moving. It's no problem, but take the risk. You know what I mean? Just take the risk. Try to be unobtrusive, but take the risk. So I go over to her, right? Now, the thing about me is I'm a pretty big guy in real life. I'm 6'5". I'm recently losing weight. I'm like 360. Now, I don't look like where it's all in my belly or whatever. It's basically, I look like a block of just humanity, you know?
Block
And
of humanity would be a really
I
nice
got
t-shirt.
I got that big felonness, man,
You're a
and
big
so
coffee, Frederick. You're a
Frederic,
big
stop.
coffee.
You're turning me on, bro. You got to stop.
I got this block of humanity with my Peyton Manning forehead. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
daddy linebacker, pin me.
That's it. But so I'm very conscious about the space that I take up in public, right? Because I've been in close quarters with women who are much shorter than me. I remember one incident when I was going through DIA and, a woman had to stand next to me and she looked up and saw me and her face went white and she started shaking and I had to literally move back off of her to give her space. Like I could just tell she did not want to be anywhere near me, right? So I'm very conscious about the space that I take up in public. And some people, there's a lot of people that are like, oh man, you're so big and tall. I'm like, that makes them feel safe. And then other people, they feel intimidated by that. And I've lived with that for most of my life. So, if I walk up to a woman, I can't just I've got to at least give her some space, right? To where I'm trying not to intimidate her, so I'm very conscious of the 3-foot rule. You got to be just inside the 3-foot rule to kind of get that intimacy. But if I get too close, it's all over. So I rolled up to her and I said, hey, excuse me. I know you're busy. My name's Frederic. I really like your energy. Is like, can I get your number so we can take you out for a dinner date, get to know each other better? That is if you're inclined to say yes and you're single. So I gave her the out. And the reason I gave her the out is I don't want to date anybody who's not single because that presents all kinds of problems. And the other is it's a way to tell her that you can tell me no and I'm not going to get upset.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get mad that you're going to tell me no. Because again, we're in public. She's busy. I'm already intruding on what she's doing, but I'm trying to minimize that as much as possible. Right.
Yeah.
She says,
You're
she
doing it
smiled
right,
and
is what I'm hearing, Frederic. Like
Hmm?
you're doing it right.
Yeah. Well, I hope so. And so she smiled real quick and said, I'm not single. And I said, okay, no problem. Thank you for your time. And I was on my way out anyway. Right. That's part of the strategy too, to help you mitigate potential embarrassment. Like hit her on your way out. If she says no, you're good. If she says yes, hey, you mind if I sit and talk to you a little bit? Then you can sit and get to know each other, because you want to be respectful of other people's time. As someone who doesn't have a lot of time, I'm trying to be respectful of other people's time. Went on with it, no problem.
I just want to interrupt you and let you know that the people are throwing pussies at you here in the chat. So
We're all
Well,
going on
wait,
about
wait. You might want to take them. You might want to take them back with what's coming next. You know, you might want to have a pussy recall. You know,
That's
so
that's my new
I
band
thought
name for today. Pussy Recall.
pussy recall. There it is. Right. So I'm like, man, good for you, man. Because again, now I could look through the pitch and go, man, you were a little nervous, you were a little desperate. Like, I hadn't pitched like that in years. You know what I'm saying? So I, I could go and say, oh man, you should do this, you should do that.
Wait, can I
Blah blah
just
blah.
pause for a second? That was the first woman you've asked out, like, face to face in years?
Yeah.
Wow, Frederic, okay.
Well, I'm
That makes me
busy.
even angrier for what happened to you afterwards.
Well,
I guess that takes so
I'm
much courage.
Well, I mean, I used to do it on the regular when I was younger, before social media and everything else. Even when I was in aviation, running around, at Philly or in Atlantic City and places we go, it's just like, man, you just holler at folks, right? You just like, hey, what's up? And Philly women, if they're not interested, they'll just let you know straight up, right?
Mhm.
Well, it depends, because you could be like, if you get the eyes up and down, like, yeah, I mean, that could be fuck off, or that could be, all right, what do you want? Be like, I'm just trying to get to know you. What's up? And so, I mean, I've played in I've pitched in markets that are tough, right? It's fine.
Fishing markets that are tough.
I mean, it's tough. It's like Philly women are, whoo. I mean, it's just, you got to develop a thick skin, man. But it's worth it, right?
Right.
So I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Man, look at you. Like, it's like, you getting back out there. Because again, I'm very rarely in public. My life, with what I do in caregiving and what I do in creativity, is very solitary. I'm almost a damn hermit, you know? So the time I do get to go out, or that I do take myself out, is very rare. And normally it's like, I'm find ways to say no, but it's like today. And I was kind of happy about that. And I said, you know, let me put on a note, because the thing I see a lot are how these young men, they can't handle rejection. Now, that word's going to be very important coming up. Rejection. You know, they do not know how to handle rejection. And one of the things that I was taught as a younger man by older men who taught me was, you have to learn how to handle loss and rejection, not only in dating, but in life, in sports, in business, in everything, because it is going to happen. And how you carry yourself in that loss or rejection says everything about how you are as a human being, right? So and everything I say when I say men, you can apply that to women too. I'm not trying to exclude anybody. I'm just telling you from my perspective.
But I'm
So
gonna
I
still
thought,
say mostly men for what you're talking about.
yeah, because I mean,
Um,
that's my experience, right? I'm a
yes.
man. That's my experience.
And it is
You
the
know,
manosphere that is,
that's
I
having
love
that
these
issue.
dating gurus who are like, you gotta have some very
Yeah,
awful, points of view about women and rejection and what's owed them.
and how
But
you
you're
talk to
fighting a
men.
cultural force.
Yeah,
Like,
and how you talk to men is very, like, heterosexual men that want to have success with women, that want to approach women, is different. And again, from my background, I've been a Marine, I've been in aviation, I've been in a lot of heavily centric male fields. I mean, I'll just say it right now, for folks, especially women, I probably know more men, have been around more men, and have even led more men than you will ever meet in your life. We're talking literally thousands from all across the country: Philadelphia, DC, Detroit, East Tennessee, Texas, LA, New Mexico, you name it. I mean, immigrants from every continent except for probably Antarctica. I ain't never worked no penguin, you know. So, but A- I, Asian folks, African folks, European folks, North and South American folks, I've worked with them all, you
you know
know,
men is what I'm hearing.
100%, and I happen to be one, you know.
Really?
Eh, well,
It's pretty
but
clear.
so I thought, let me post this note, right? And it'll help some folks out, right? I want to help young men out, say, hey, man, you could take rejection and you're still alive. You're okay. It ain't no problem, right?
Actually, a pretty healthy part of life to learn how
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
how
want to
people
jump in
can.
and say, like, your note was great. Like, I read your note and I instantly hearted it and was like, fuck yeah, man. Like, Frederic shot his shot and, like, said that he got shot down and he's going on with his day. Like, I loved it. I thought there was fucking nothing wrong with that
I,
note.
I didn't like disparage this woman. I didn't insult her. I didn't, blah, blah, blah. She don't know what she missed. It's like, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay.
Right.
You know, it's like whether she is with somebody or she isn't with somebody, and that's just what she said. It doesn't matter,
Right.
right? She said
For the
no.
answer.
That's enough.
That's all
That's
you need
enough.
to know. Yeah.
It's
And
cool.
I don't have your original note because, and I know you've since taken it down, so I don't want to harp on
Yep.
it, but I did love that you ended with like a little bit of a call to action for other men. Not quite call to action. That's too strong, but you did end with a like, and hey, I'm here. Like rejection is okay. Um, part of this is because you're my friend now. I know you, but also I know you from your online public persona that you have a mission to educate younger men. You alluded to this earlier that
Oh yeah.
you learned because older men kind of like a like a mama dog and a baby dog like would swat you if you did something out of line when you were a young man. Like, dude, don't do that. That's not right. And you
Yeah.
learned from it. Gently swat, of course. You know
Well,
what I
no, I
mean.
mean, no,
So
that's the thing with men. It's not. It wasn't so gentle. It was just blunt. Like you tell them, like,
yeah,
hey, I'm like, let's just say, for argument's sake, you know, is like you said, oh, I went up to this girl I like. It's like, okay, how'd that go? Well, I pulled her hair. It's like, oh, young man, you can't do that.
Oh, fuck
No,
no.
you ain't supposed to do that.
Jesus
It's
Christ.
like, what's wrong, man? What's wrong with you? You like her and you're trying to hurt her? Nah, you can't. Here's what you need to do. First of all, you need to go over to her and apologize you did that, take ownership of that. And second of all, you need to not do that ever again because of X, Y, and Z. That's the kind and way I was given advice. Now I soften it as I've gotten older, where I've talked to men. And the thing is, you're trying to plant seeds. That's what you're really trying to do. You know,
yes.
it's like, you know, it's like, well, all women are like this, man. All they want is money. It's like, are you sure about that? And it's like, yeah, man, that's been my experience. Well, and then you unfold it. You walk them through it, right? Well, tell me about it, you know. And then they'll tell you, and usually you find out it's one woman that they're upset about. Like either they took her out on a date and dropped a lot of money on her, and she still said no, or she did it. And then what I try to do is bring the personal accountability, and it's like, well, son, if you're trying to impress a woman by paying for a date, and blowing a bunch of money on her, you're trying to let your money do the work instead of your personality,
Yep.
you know? And so the problem was, you put forth your money and
Yeah.
she didn't want the money and told you no. See what I'm saying? Well, she's a gold digger. It's like, no, 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 no. You put forth the money, she accepted it and then said she didn't want that. That's not what she's looking for.
Right. Or that she wasn't interested in you in spite of the money you spent. Maybe don't outlay that kind of money on a first date.
Right. And it's like, so young man, why were you trying to put forth this much money on the first date? You trying to buy a little taste? Is that what you're trying to do? See, that's how you talk to as you leave. And then they're like, it's like, listen, man, then you open the door and you say, man, you've been taught wrong, brother. This is how you've been taught wrong. Let me tell you what you need to do. I'm gonna put you on to it. Right.
Yeah.
You need to work on your personality and lean forward and see, you need to look for values, son. What are you looking for? Are you looking for a piece of ass or are you looking for a girlfriend or a wife? Right? Because a girlfriend or wife is going to want you to invest time in her of your values and attention and your emotional maturity. And if you think money's going to be a substitute for that, it ain't happening. Or you're not going to find the woman that you want to, the kind of woman you want to find.
Right.
Like attracts like, my dude. You know what I mean? So work on yourself. Your pitch is wrong. Whoever you're listening to tell you that, they're telling you wrong, brother.
Yeah.
And now you're going to disparage all women
Right.
because of
Not a
what
good
of
look.
this. You can't do it because you're not going to learn the truth of the world, son. So I've had these conversations with younger men, right? I've had them like, especially working, when there's downtime and ramping all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes it helps, sometimes it don't, you know?
You know, I do want to pause here as a woman and as a mother of daughters and say, like, women need men like you, straight masculine men, talking like this. Like, we've been yelling for this for decades.
Yeah.
I've been online long enough, and before that, just out in the world. Like, we can't do it alone because
No.
coming from the other side, so to speak, and you are speaking a language to help connect them to what's needed. Like, so thank you, first of all. I just want to underline how important it is for young men to hear this from men who look and sound like them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Men who they can look up to, role models. So, yeah, like, and I think that's what colored. I want to say all of this before we start talking about the negative experience that you had on Substack, which is where we're going to pivot to. Of like
Yeah.
two things. One is everything you just said was really beautiful. It's wonderful that you are trying to raise a better generation of young men. And then the other side of it is, this is kind of the tone I want to set as we have this conversation. Um, I think most people agree that online dating is mostly miserable because it is.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
As members of Gen X, we can remember a time before the internet when we had to meet in person, but
Mm-hmm.
so many people really can't because it's become a norm. How can we meet one another in person in ways that feel safe and good to everyone? I think is um, a guiding principle here. So
Yeah.
I'm going to put that out there first. And as much as you feel like comfortable talking about what happened next,
Sure.
let's talk about it.
So yeah, like I think, before I jump into that, like first of all, thank you. I do appreciate that. One of the things like seeing the state of men like that social media has definitely kind of brought out, I realized just how fortunate I was to have the mentors and male like figures in my life that I did that taught me, basically how to be a man, how to approach women, how to be respectful. I wasn't always that way. I made mistakes and I was not my best self, but I've tried to take ownership for that and um but yeah, I that's one of the reasons I do talk about this stuff because I realize like, damn man, like I see the like people globbing onto these like these red pill content creators who obviously it's like none of this is going to make you happy. This is a grift. It is going to make you miserable. It is going to make you a worse person. You know, and because you get these guys who are just like, well, I want to get a whole bunch of women. It's like, okay, I mean, you could do that. You can have casual sex with a bunch of women, but is that what you want? You know, and well, for a lot of men, it's like, no, not really. I just want to I want a love and affection. Okay. In order to get love and affection, you have to give love and affection. And if you don't know how to do that, if you think like, well, I go to work and I pay the bills, then like, look, brother, that's not what women are looking for today.
No.
It's a yes and question now, right? You know, more is expected of us because women have gotten to a place closer to equality. So more is expected. you know? So you can either fight it and complain about it, or you can accept it and actually be better. Like, because isn't that what your whole philosophy is about? Becoming a better man, elevating and going to the next level. Okay, so why isn't like if emotional maturity is that in business, why can't it be in love?
Right.
Why does it suddenly like? Because again, your mindset is toxic because you see women as a thing to be acquired, not an ending of themselves, not as a human being that you want to receive love and affection from.
I'm sending you all the hearts for this, Frederic. Give Frederic some hearts for this. It's so good.
So, but that's it. Is right. these men are like, listen, it's women. It's like, well, men are the prize, women are the prize. Women are people, so are men. It's not a prize. Prize is a thing. You're looking to be in a relationship with somebody and grow and build. That's something different. That takes work. That takes effort. Honest effort. And it's harder and it's messy, and you're going to be imperfect. So that's my little stump speech, anyway. So I thought, I'm going to post this out. I'm going to tell these men in the world, hey, it's okay to take rejection, right? I think I ended on that. Rejection is okay.
Yeah, you did. Or
Yeah.
something paraphrased.
Yeah, no,
Yeah. Like that was the last part of it. I threw it out there and I'm thinking, maybe it gets like 50 likes or whatever. By the time I deleted it, it had like 1,800, right? I didn't expect it to blow up like that. And it's not a brag. I'm just like, whoa,
Right.
And
an
the
unexpected blow up.
Yeah. So that took me kind of off guard that I wasn't prepared for. I should have been prepared for it. I've had things go viral, but I honestly wasn't prepared for it, right? So I got a lot of overwhelmingly positive responses. Absolutely. And so I don't want to take it as like I got drugged, because I didn't. The problem with that is when it goes that high, the negative responses get amplified, right? So I got a few dozen, probably 30 or 40 that really hyped on. I got everything from, oh, you used the word rejected, so you're contributing to violence against women because you're telling men that this is bigger than it is. Or aspersions on my character, like, oh, you talked about this, like you felt the need to post it and put a note, so you must have some deep-seated anger issues. Or
Yes, I
like,
saw that. That was in
yeah,
the, I saw this because
or the one
we
you
weren't
got
named
upset
it.
about was basically, this is why women don't feel safe in public spaces, because this creep comes up with his line to talk to her and blah blah blah. And again, I'm just looking at this like, if it's a few here and there, okay. But it's like, the thing that really infuriated me about this, more so than hearing the no, right, was, you didn't get rejected. You shouldn't feel rejected. No, that's not the word you should use. You should feel this. You should feel this. You should feel, over and over and over. And I'm like,
Right.
it's my damn experience.
Right.
Right.
Why are you
And
trying to invalidate? You're not even trying to understand what I'm putting out there and what I
right.
went,
Right.
which it wasn't nothing. That was the whole point.
And rejection is literally the definition of what happened. Like, rejection isn't bad. That's the whole point of your fucking thing.
Yes,
Yes.
now one woman made a great point. She says, I understand where you're coming from. I feel like rejection has this really harsh connotation, and I think men take it worse for that. I wish we could change it. I said, you know what? That's a valid point. I'll take that. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
but what is the word I'm allowed to use instead? Right?
Right.
Because if
Decline.
I can't use the word rejection for something that is a textbook rejection, which shouldn't have any emotional baggage or connotation to it, like, what word am I allowed to use then?
Yeah, but even then, it's like my
I got
point.
iced.
Yeah, exactly. It's like she said no, blah blah blah. And my point would be to come back with that is, even if I use the harshest language possible, right? The harshest language possible, I'd say to young men is like, are you still alive? Did you get shot? Or like, is your bank account messed up? Nothing happened to you.
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So you don't need to go off on this deep end of, oh, women are this. You don't need to do that, man. That's just, you just felt embarrassed.
Right.
And you're going to be embarrassed. And that's okay.
Yeah. Rejection stings. I'm sure you would have rather gotten a yes, but it sounds like it was a pleasant interaction. From what you wrote, she smiled at you and
Oh,
was just like,
it's just cute. Her smile was great.
yeah.
I was like, it made my day, where it was like, man, I got to talk to, a nice look. I was like, an attractive woman to attracted me. And, it's like, I felt pretty good about myself. I was like, you know what, man, look at you putting yourself out there, taking a risk. I was like, man, good on you, bro. You know,
Good on you.
and,
For real. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt. Keep going.
no. And then other ones, like just ridiculous ones were like, well, you only talked to her because you found her attractive. Yeah. So what?
Well,
Of
yeah,
course. What am I supposed to
and
talk to women I don't find attractive and then
they
date them for a year and then go, hey, sorry, I've never really found you attractive. Sorry for wasting your time.
Right. And I think, I mean, some of the nuance that maybe you didn't post in the note, but fuck them for not giving you credit is like part of what attracted you was that she was there working on something and you are looking for somebody who's attractive and intellectual, right? And
Yeah.
so, they didn't know kind of what it was that made you feel like you wanted to take a chance with this woman.
Now, as a writer, that's my fault, right? Because, I didn't convey that to the audience, but I
Honestly,
made
it
an
wasn't
editorial
important to the
decision.
story. It
Well,
wasn't important to the story,
yeah, I made an editorial decision to leave that out because it's
Sure.
like, I, you know, and so I think women that maybe had this version of where it's like, oh, you only talk to an attractive woman, which would be conventionally this, this, and this. And it's like, no, I just said she's attractive to me, right?
Right.
Which could be a lot of different things, right? Because I find, like, for me, it's more about like vibe and energy, hence why I used energy, more about vibe, energy. Because I've met women that are conventionally attractive, gotten to know them, personality was awful, they had awful values, and I'm like, ugh, nah, good, you know.
Right.
But I've also met women like I wasn't initially attracted to physically, but then they were funny, they were smart, like they great charisma, just nice personality, and I'm like, okay, what's up? What's going on here? You know,
Yeah.
and again, and I want to state just for the record, like this isn't a pity party, right? Because I'm getting to the boundary part. This is not a pity party. I know when you post things, you are going to take hits. You are going to take, that's part of being a creative. Not everybody's going to agree with you. Not everybody is going to, you know, you're going to take hits on the most superfluous stuff. That's part of, if you get into this in a larger way in the online space, you're going to take hits. I personally wasn't prepared for this. And it took me aback, and so I made the decision last night, where I was like, this bothers me. I didn't expect it to bother me. Okay, I'm drawing a boundary, right? I'm not going
Well,
to talk about my personal dating life from here on out because the hits I'm taking from it are not worth it to me,
yeah.
And so, I'm saying that to like other creators, people that are in this space, because I'm gonna say this twofold to other creators and then people who take in this content, right? Because you have people on this space that are putting out very personal things, right? One of them's in the chat right now, Fusin. And some of her stuff is amazing because it is so authentic. And the treat that you get like, and this is me as a historian, is someone who is living a different life than you and is humanizing that and showing you a different world that you might not be in, you know? And so if you come in with your snap judgment and you don't try to understand where they're coming from and act in good faith and you hit them, all you're doing is pushing them to where, you know what? It ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. I'm drawing a boundary. I ain't talking about this. Because, and for creatives, it's like, it is, once you do not have to make your entire self available for public consumption. You are not obligated to do that. It is okay to draw a boundary. I thought, okay, yeah, I can be honest about everything in my life until I hit this and went, oh, I don't like this. This is, I wasn't prepared for this. I've had everybody call me a cuck and everything and cuss me out, blah, 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 on politics. That I just laugh at. I was like, okay, that's funny.
Right.
But this was personal, and I took it personal, and I went, you know what? that's my fault. I put out something I wasn't ready to get hit on. I'm drawing a boundary for now.
Well, and I think
You know?
my experience of you, Frederic, has always been somebody who is honest and willing to be vulnerable in public, right?
Yeah.
And there was an expression of vulnerability here where you were talking about your experience and you were talking, trying to frame it positively and rejection is okay. And to have people steal your words, basically, right? And I understand that women experience this all the time. That women
They
can't
do.
talk about their lived experiences, and people of color and queer people can't talk about their lived experiences without massive commentary. But it can happen to anyone, including
Yes.
a big burly straight white guy like you,
Yeah. Yeah.
where you're not allowed. People are policing your speech and your word choice, and it's not fair for any of us to have our lived experience be questioned or denigrated like that. It fucking sucks.
It really did. I mean, and again, it's not a woe is me kind of thing because overwhelmingly the support was positive, but because it got so much traction, the negative was more than I was used to. And because it was such a personal thing, right? It was like I had this small little personal victory and I got lumped in with sexual harassers in the workplace. I got lumped in with assaulters and abusers of women. I'm part of the problem why women can't go out in public. I shouldn't use rejection. That one came over and over and over. How I shouldn't feel a certain way, and
Right. No one gets
it
to
ju-
tell you how you feel about
Right.
something.
right, and it's like, and some of it I'll go and say it was well intentioned, right? It was well intentioned. Some of these people fired something off and they're trying to be helpful, but the impact just was all the way off.
Right.
And it made me reflect. And the reason I'm talking about it is okay to set a boundary and say, nah. Mm-mm.
I know. I completely respect your boundary. I'm here to push on it. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm here to say it's a shame though, because the work you're doing is so important. Like I said earlier, I do want to read. So I missed when you originally posted it, or at
Right.
least I saw that someone shared it. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want to. But someone saw your post, a woman on the internet, and was so taken aback by it that she posted about it and it got a lot of traction. And I just want to read this intro part because this is something I know we don't have a ton of time, but I do want to dive into, you know, as a woman who has been single on and off for a good part of my adult life. She wrote, "Can you imagine stopping for a coffee and some guy approaches you and says he likes your energy and wants your phone number? You're there for a fucking coffee." And it goes on there to talk about not every place is a bar, and her friend pepper sprayed a guy who hit on her in a laundromat, and she got hit on while walking her dog, and how these spaces aren't safe for women.
Girl, you're at a
And
coffee shop. Like,
that's what I wanted to say here. Can you imagine? Yes, I can imagine it, and it sounds delightful. If I were I don't even care if I were single or not. I wouldn't care if I were attracted to the guy or not. If a man approaches me in public, which does not happen very increasingly less often, I think both because I'm getting older, but also because we have this culture of we only meet people online. And Seattle is a very shy, kind of standoffish place. But when a man has approached me and asked an honest question respectfully, like, "Hey, I think you're beautiful," or "Hey, can I have your number? I'd love to see you again." Um, it does make my day. And I'm gonna
Yeah.
say that there are exceptions, and I think women have worked really hard to draw that line of like, please don't do this at work because we work here and it's harassment to have to deal with this at work. Please don't do this when we are working. If it's a woman working at the cafe, my opinion would be very different because she has to be polite and she can't excuse herself and leave. But if we're taking that hard fought and communicated battle of don't come at us in places that are unsafe, And we are conflating it with, can you even imagine? I just wanted to enjoy my coffee. Like you can enjoy coffee at home. If you go have coffee in a cafe, you are explicitly saying, I'm here to be a part of my community because you're there. And sometimes people will talk to you. And as long as the communication is respectful, like how on earth can we meet and talk to one another if it can't happen that way, right?
So,
The nuance is getting completely missed, and I actually think it's doing harm to women to conflate things that are unsafe and unfair to be approached in certain ways with this, which is so healthy, right?
well, here's the thing. Like, and I know some of y'all were like, "What's her name?" Like, I want to go comment. Like, please don't. Like, if you
She's
even if you
taking it
know,
down. She took
yeah,
the post is gone.
yeah,
When you took yours down, she took hers down. I'm guessing.
yeah, even if you know who she is, we don't want to be about that. Women get enough flack online. They don't need to get dogpiled on. We don't need to be about that life. Uh, the second thing. So here's really the thing you got to keep in mind in public spaces, right? And this is there are no like, yes, there are rules for this stuff, like there are guidelines, but it is imperfect people in an imperfect world having imperfect conversations with each other. Anytime you approach anybody for like some kind of romantic interaction in public, it's a risk. Some women that make like you, it makes their day. Like, oh my gosh, this is so great, blah, blah, blah. Other women, it's like, dear God, like, I'm just trying to enjoy my coffee. Why can't people leave me alone? Or it could be the same woman. Like maybe at the start of the week, she's happy when it happens once, but by the sixth time it happens in that week, she's like, Jesus Christ, man, like what the hell's going on? And then the same woman a month from now, man, nobody's talked to me. Like, what the hell? I was like, six guys talked to me a month ago. Because that's human beings. That's humanity.
Right.
Right. And so the thing is, you have to, like, as a guy, like, you should weigh that. Hey, is this appropriate? Like, it's maybe this might be a little inappropriate. I might make this person uncomfortable, but I want to talk to him. I don't know. Like, all right, how do I minimize this, the potential impact of this? At least for me. Now, assholes don't give a shit about any of that stuff.
Exactly.
They don't care, right? So all this stuff, all these rules you want to put in place for can't do this and can't do that, and blah blah blah. Assholes don't give a fuck about any of that stuff.
Right.
They're just gonna be like, it's like, oh, woman, I want to bang. They'll just come up to you, and that's it.
I'm entitled to this woman I'd like to bang.
I'm entitled to her. I'm entitled to this woman because here I am, right? And so they're not going to give you the out of, hey, if you're single and so inclined.
Right.
That ain't happening, And I'm not saying that as a dig against women or anything else. It's like, I will say this, just being honest, like this entire experience is like, part of me is just like, man, fuck this, like because again, part of my life is I'm like, one, I'm real busy, right? But I get fulfillment from reading, from writing, from doing like my life is fulfilled. Dating is extra. And if that's why I don't do online dating because it's too much like a fucking job with no payoff.
Right.
And so I'm like, no, like I don't need to do this, I'm good. Yeah. So the next time I have that inclination, I hate to say it, is I'm going to look at it and go, hey, remember what happened last time? I'm like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm gonna drink my coffee and I got other stuff to do, man. I'm gonna dip out. It's gonna take some time to get over, right? Because
Yeah.
I'm just I got the sting wasn't from the actual rejection from the woman. The sting I'm feeling now was from, damn, there's a whole lot of people that just don't give a damn about your personal experience. I even took down my live where I talked about it because I got comments of, you didn't get rejected. That's just some deep-seated issues. Can you stop using and so much? It's like, I'm sorry, I don't work from yeah, I got that. I get that all the time too, where it's like, I don't work from a script. when I say or I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to say next.
Right. Right. And it's not a fucking job interview, for God's sake.
Yeah, you're not on NBC News.
Right.
And so it's like I
I
was just like, you know what? No, live's gone. This is gone. My piece is more important right now.
know.
You know.
We're at time, and I'm okay to stay a little over, Lawrence. Are you okay to
Yeah.
stay a little over?
Yeah.
Because
I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, good. I please don't stop trying, Frederic, is my advice. Um, we have to be able to talk to one another.
Yeah.
And Fusen said it earlier, and you're always going to believe Fusen, right? It's all just about consent and respect. If you are respectful, and if she says no, you're like, wonderful, have a great day, lovely to meet you. Like, you're like, we have to be able to do that as humans. And I hope, even if you're not talking about your personal lived experience, that you will continue to speak to men the way that you do, because it's
Like
it's so
I'm not
important.
going to give that up, right? You know, like definitely try to coach and teach, you know, like all that. Um, you know, it's like and it will be lived experience from stuff in the past or whatever. But as my personal dating life currently, that's going to stay private.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Well, the piece that I kind of took away from it was like, if we can't fucking talk about this, like, how are we going to talk about the hard stuff? I mean, I get that trauma experiences and boundaries and safety for women is an important thing to talk about, right? But if we can't hear each other and have a conversation about the simple thing that you posted, how can we talk about fucking alligator Alcatraz, Auschwitz? And how can we talk about Trump and ICE and fat? Like, how can we talk about the hard shit if we can't even hear each other about the stuff that we're making hard that doesn't need to be hard, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And to that, I'd say it's pretty obvious when people are acting in bad faith, right? When, you know, there's like, you know, a Trump troll or someone who's just comes out and they're just trying
Right.
to be nasty to be nasty. Those people, you can block them, give them no slack, right?
Right.
But when someone's trying in good faith, like I remember once, so when I was organizing in college as a grad student, and we did an event with on abortion, right, and women's rights. So this is 2012,
Mm.
and I had women from the women's group at the campus come speak about it and talk about why it was important, and I invited a bunch of guys to come down, right? And these guys, like they're college guys. They never thought about this stuff, right? So they're asking questions, and I could tell the girls were getting upset, right? Because it wasn't just, you know, yes, girl, yes, oh my God, yes. You know, it was like, well, isn't that murder? Or, well, you know, why should I have to like if you want to have the baby and I don't, why should I have to pay for the child or do child support? Blah blah blah. And so at times I would jump in and kind of explain it and I'd tip it off back to them. And then they came out and they were like, they had a bad experience and they were just like, I can't believe these guys, blah, 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 blah. I was like, listen, those are the people you're trying to convert. If you're trying to be in politics and you're trying to educate, because here's the difference. They weren't disrespectful. They were honestly trying to learn something. They've never encountered this. They've never had to think about it. It's not even in their wheelhouse, you know? So if you're just going to preach to the choir, you know, it's not gonna happen. And by that same point, if you see something online of someone that's maybe not quite as correct, right? Or to you, you have to approach it and say, okay, what are they trying to say? Right? Take an extra few seconds to try to digest it before your bias flares up and you go, oh, how dare he? Boom, and fire it off. And then you're scrolling down to the next one. Because that creator or that person that's trying to operate in good faith might just take that as, oh, well, I guess I'm not talking about this anymore. And you're going to lose out to it. You're going to lose out to people like Lawrence talking about his gay experience and how that was, or Dana talking about the flack she received over an article about her boobs, which wasn't about her boobs, right? Or Fusen talking about her life, or people of color talking about their lives. Take an extra second to try to say, this person's operating in faith. What do they mean?
Right. Yeah.
Try to take it, because these people are like, we are giving you our lived experience in a lot of ways to try to help and encourage other people. That, like, I write about mental health stuff, not because, hey, look at me, oh, I got mental health issues. I'm like, hey man, I've been through this struggle, and any of you who are going through it, like, I hope this can help you, because this is what's helped me. Yeah. And if you're gonna come in and so these are what I'll say to these people: you're making it worse for women. No, you're making it worse for creators, because you're shitting on us, because you haven't thought about what we said. You haven't thought about our perspective. And so now it's like, all right, boundary. You don't get access to me in that way anymore.
Yep.
Done.
Yeah.
That person just wrote that in the chat of, my rule of thumb is that I will tell you about my life, but as soon as you use that to attack me, I will never give you that privilege again, ever.
Yep.
Boundary. And full respect for the one that you are putting up here, Frederic. We need to learn how to speak with nuance. There's kind of a whole conversation happening in the chat about how it's getting lost, this ability to have a nuanced conversation about topics like this. But you said it really well, of like, if you're someone operating in good faith, like, engage, don't just block it. It's hard right now because the other side politically, especially, the other side is so, like, when people encourage me, like, you should talk to them, I'm like, no, there's some things you can't talk through.
No.
Because it's not good faith. But
no, it's not.
This was.
And this is why, one of the reasons I love Substack. It's changing, and I hope it doesn't go too far into horribleness.
Right.
But I love the fact that I get to read readers like Fusen and her friend now, Lena. Yeah, Lena. I get to read, like, I get to read all these other, like, Larissa Reinhart, who I'm going to talk on Tuesday. I get to read, women of color. I get to read trans folks. I get to read all these experiences from different people, which is the entire reason that I got into the degrees and things that I got into. Like, they're opening their world to you. They're opening their experiences to you. And it doesn't mean you have to agree with everything, but you should try to understand where they're coming from.
Right.
Because that's how you grow. It's like, we've gotten to this place where, well, I'm set and I have my belief system, and this is what I think, and I'm going to tell you this is what you think. You're not growing at that point. You're static. You are inflexible, and you're basically no better than the maggots you hate.
Yep.
People are thanking you in the chat in case you're missing it.
Oh yeah.
For your kindness, for the depth of your character. This is a joy. There's a bunch of people weighing in and saying thank you.
And that's why I always encourage people to write, to tell their story, because for the longest time in history, all we heard was from wealthy white Christian men.
Right.
Yeah.
We lost entire records of other people. There are no records. We have to piece them together with statistics and potentials and this and that.
Right.
And we are in an era where there are people who are, this is how you make progress with humanity, right?
Yeah.
It's not so much AI and tech, and that's part of it, sure, right? But it's stories of real people. Trans people have always existed.
Right.
And for the first time, it's like they're coming out and telling their stories, and they're being humanized. And for the bigots, it's freaking painful, right? Women are getting close.
In the process of whitewashing history, right? Like taking the trans people out of the Stonewall riot, like the Trump administration did with the Stonewall Memorial. Like, We're
Yeah,
literally seeing history edited and whitewashed and Christianized and whatever
and
in
that's
front of our
offensive
eyes.
to me as as someone who's historically trained. It's offensive
Right.
because you're selling me how can I move forward? How can society move forward? How can humanity progress if we don't know where we came from and the mistakes we've made in the past? If we don't have an understanding of what reality actually is? Because the
You heal
whole
the heart.
purpose of all of this is to try to get as close of an approximation to reality as possible so we can potentially be better people.
Yeah.
So that's my rant, you know.
It was a beautiful rant. Look at all the hearts flying up. That's not even me. Those are other people pressing those hearts. Um,
I feel bad for taking I mean, honestly, like I hated to take the note down. I'm usually one of these guys that I stand by what I write. Um, but I just I had to draw a boundary, man, because I was lying to myself. It was like, oh, this if I would be faking the funk saying this ain't bothering me, this but no, it bothered me, you know. And
Yeah.
I just said, okay. I had to own that. I mean, honestly, I think that in some ways took more courage for me to do for myself because it was admitting that I had a limit. And I hate to do that. Like that's one of my flaws where it's because that's how I beat myself up at a lot of times. Like, well, dude, you should be okay with this. You shouldn't feel this kind of way about this. What are you, a punk? You're a writer. Go out and man, take the hits, blah, blah, blah. Man, sometimes I just don't want to take the hits on certain things.
Yeah.
it's a mental
That's
health thing. I mean,
absolutely legit and fair. Right.
You
you
know,
gotta
and
You
protect
got
it.
to preserve your sanity so that you can continue to do the good work that you do, you know?
and there was somebody in the chat that said, and I want to really hammer this home. Somebody said, well, we're not as men, we're not all big, burly men. And that's true, right? Because one of the things that I constantly preach is my masculinity is not the archetype for every masculinity, right? Masculinity has to be strong enough and broad enough to allow people that aren't like me, that do not have this kind of aggressive or loud personality or this, that, or not 6'5", or not cisgendered male, that are trans men, you know, or gay men, or it has to be inclusive. Because if it's not inclusive, it's weak. So
Right.
what you're saying is, oh, well, those other people, they can't be with us. Okay, why? Are you scared of it? Why are you scared of it? You're telling me you're weak, is what you're telling me. You're morally weak, you know? And so, it's so yeah, if you listen, man, if you're not exactly like me, and you're in this chat and you're listening here, man, hey, it's okay. You know, you need to define your masculinity for you, but contained within that masculinity needs to be a good person. Marcus Aurelius said one of the facets of masculinity, and we're talking was humility and kindness. And we're talking about a man who lived in a time where virtus, martial, m- mar- martial quality was manliness. He's living in an era, a sin culture era, where you were measured by how much of a man you were, by how many military victories, people you've killed, and
Right.
treasure you've taken back to Rome. And he's saying, nah, bro, it's humility and kindness. And he even says gentleness. So you have thinkers that have stated over and over that masculinity includes gentleness, kindness, and humility. It has to be broadened.
Yeah. I
So,
I know my perspective as a gay dude as bottom isn't necessarily a broad perspective, but the things that have made me feel more masculine or more in touch with my masculinity have been exploring femininity, right? And
mhm.
exploring the softer, gentler side of my soul. And I think that, you know, I think we all contain multitudes and we all contain complexity, and there's a gentleness along with the strength that you're talking about. And I think a well-rounded person, a well-rounded man, a well-rounded woman understands the full complexity of their own soul, right? And my soul's different from yours, Frederick. And so, we, in some ways, we present alike, big burly dudes with beards, but, in other ways, our lived experience, our experiences as men is very, very different, obviously. And, and there's got to be room for that, right? There's got to be room for that in our society.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. Like, and I'm not comfortable with exploring femininity for me. I'm fine with women having femininity, and I
Sure.
like femininity, but I'm not comfortable with it for whatever reason. That's why I think like a guy like you, in some ways, is braver than me because you're willing to. No, I want to give you your props on this, man, because it's like you're willing to go to go to a place that here is like I'm like, nah, I'm good. But what's interesting is like I was having a bad day. I even made a video of it to send to my sister because she was house sitting for a friend, and the dog wasn't eating his stuff, and I got mad at him. I was just like, "You just take your damn pills," da da da. And I was on the phone with my sister when I said it, and I felt bad. I said, "Okay," she doesn't like it when I get testy with her dog. So then I filmed it. I said, I apologizing to the dog, like, "Hey man, I'm sorry. He didn't deserve that. Like, I had a bad day. That's on me, brother." I'm apologizing to a dog because I believe in taking ownership and accountability, even to a dog that didn't deserve to get fussed at for not eating a pill he didn't want to eat. Even though it's keeping his heart murmur in check. But he don't know any better. He's a dog. That's just what he does.
The dog doesn't know that.
Yeah, and so to me, it's like I take that kind of accountability to an extreme where I'm just like, oh, I'll apologize to the dog and I'll film it, send it to my sister. So, hey, man, I apologize to your dog. I'm sorry.
That's so cute. I'm sure the dog's fine.
Yeah, the dog's just licking my
The
hand
dog
like,
is fine.
nah, we good. We good.
Yeah.
Give me a treat and I was like, I knew it. I knew it. You could be bought.
Yeah. Dogs are such simple creatures in that way.
Right.
But I legitimately felt bad. I was like, bro, why are you fussing at this dog? It's a dog.
Right.
He's just a dog. He does what he does. This is nature.
Yeah. I've had a lot of moments like that recently, Frederick, where I'm like, man, why did you go to that space? Like, why did you say that thing? Like, that's not actually important,
Nope.
And it takes kind of a willingness to constantly be aware of oneself and be honest with oneself to be able to recognize, like, man, I shouldn't have fucking cursed at the dog. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, now the cat, he gets what he gets because he's slick. He thinks he. No,
Totally.
I'm playing.
Oh, I know. Well, I think at least for me, I'm probably going to need to wrap up here soon and get into my work day and all of that. Before I do that, I want to say, like, we have triple digits in the chat today, which is wonderful. And all the discourse in the chat has just been so great. So I wanted to thank the, I really wish Substack would capture all of this because it's just been such a great conversation happening there alongside our conversation that's on camera. Thank you all for your insights. Thank you for being active participants in this conversation. It's been wonderful. And Frederic.
Yeah.
I mean,
man.
I don't know if you'd see that on screen. Thank
you. Apologies for kind of being shouty at times,
No, God,
no.
man. Like,
it's all been great. We do want to give a quick shout out before we go. Lawrence and I had planned a July pledge drive for Gen X. It's now just going to be renamed a summer pledge drive because Lawrence had the audacity to get sick last week. It's mid-month and we're behind. I'm going to put the link in here and just give a quick pitch of all the content on Gen X is ahead of the paywall. We are an NPR model. We want to get the word out. But in a post-capitalist world, it would also be nice to have a few more paid subscribers. So we have pulled together a pledge drive. We do need to invite Fred to the Discord. We have a Discord for.
Oh yeah, okay.
We will send you an invite. But we have a very steep discount running right now. It's $20 for an annual subscription to Gen X. That is a lifetime dollar amount. It'll never go up. And when you do that, we also have for Lawrence's personal Substack and for mine, dollar annual subscriptions to go along with it. So it's a $22 package deal is what we're hoping for.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Because on Substack, like GenX getting to 100, we still don't get our check marks. That functionality doesn't really exist. So Lawrence and I are hoping to grow our individual ones. We are sharing some content. Lawrence is a wonderful science fiction writer on his personal one, and
the latest chapter of my book is up on Lawrence Winterman Science
I
Fiction.
know. I'm so
I gotta man, I can't wait to take some time and read that. I'll keep like, it's like I get into something, I'm just like, when I finally get through all the madness that my life is right now, I'm gonna just enjoy like going through the whole thing.
Nice. I love it.
I will say this on a final note with manliness, man. The next time you get sick, Lawrence, you just need to show that sickness was bought. Just beat it out of you. Just beat the sickness right out of you, man. Use blunt force trauma.
Right. Projectile vomiting on camera,
boom.
So what, man? So
like, get out of me, sickness.
Everything out of Lawrence, actually.
You better get out of my body.
I just got to Teddy Roosevelt that shit and go throw myself into the wilderness and wrestle some buffalo and fuck.
Yeah. Frederic, can't you see that sickness beat everything out of Lawrence? Because look how slim he is. He had food poisoning for days, and now he looks like he had a total glow up from it.
Right.
I know. Yeah.
I keep saying, stomach flu and Manjaro in combination, it's I'm just one more stomach flu and Manjaro shot away from my goal weight.
That's funny.
On that happy note, we will post our full schedule. We have some great guests joining us this week. We've got Diane Wilder, a new writer who just published her first novel, joining us tomorrow. We've got Opinionated Ogre coming on Thursday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And still working on our Fucked Up Friday guest, but waiting on an email back. We will have that to share shortly. So
you guys are crushing it.
What's that?
You guys are crushing it. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Frederic.
The Thursday with Ogre should be really good because it's going to be basically three Jews talking about anti-Semitism and how fucked up Israel is and the genocide in Gaza and the anti-Semitic left and all the crazy bullshit. So that one's going to
I'll show up in the chat and be like, what y'all doing? Killing our Lord and Savior?
Let's take it back to
building
basics.
That temple.
Right.
Bringing him back. That's what we're trying to do, Frederic. We're bringing your Savior back.
Right.
I've got Taco Tuesday at 5:00 Mountain. I got Larissa Reinhart coming on.
Nice.
We're gonna be. I think we're gonna be talking about the Epstein files and is Donald Trump horrible to women and a pedophile?
But there's no list. He can't be on the list if there's no list, right?
Right. I mean, it's not like we could ask the victims,
right?
I am. Well, I don't want to dive into this here because I really do need to go. But I hope Tuesday I will either be able to tune in or if I can't get out of work, I'll listen in. Why is this the story that seems to be sticking after all the other atrocities?
It's because MAGA. He told MAGA for years that he was going to release the Epstein list, and now he's pulling the switcheroo, and it's the one thing that they want Obama and Clinton. And I mean, let's be clear, if Obama and Clinton and Bill Gates and whoever is on the fucking list, fuck them. They're pedophiles and burn them to the fucking ground. I don't care. Everyone who's on that list should be fucking prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And if it means taking billions of dollars away from people and destroying corporations, I don't care. Good. If it means blowing up the leadership of the Democratic Party, don't care. Fuck all the pedophiles. But MAGA's freaking out because they were promised for years that they were going to get this list. And, and now they're saying there's no list. That's bullshit.
Wow. Wait, can we just pause for a second, though? Is there a chance Obama's on this list? Because
I don't know.
That actually would shatter me a little.
Would I be heartbroken? Yeah. Would I be fucking throw him into prison and prosecute him with Bill Clinton and Donald Trump and everybody else? Absolutely.
I mean, I'll say this. Is there a chance? Yes, as in human things are possible, right? He's a human being. This was human. Okay. But given that it's Trump and they don't like black people, no, I doubt it. You know, I sincerely doubt it. Maybe Bill Clinton, just because of his proclivities.
Yeah.
But
Oh, that
yeah,
honestly, I'm baking in that Bill Clinton is on the list, right?
for sure.
yeah, maybe Clinton, because the Democrats, like when they were in office, didn't release it for a reason. Now that could just be some misguided, well, we don't want to upset the integrity of the elect. Okay, yeah, whatever. You guys should have released it. But here's the thing: is the reason, to answer your point, Dana, why is this getting so much traction now? For a lot of people on MAGA, this is an act of faith,
Yeah.
and Trump just told them their faith is bullshit.
Right.
I'm realizing this, like, we're having Nick is in the chat discussing that how foundational this is. So this is like canon.
Right. This is canon. Nick says canon to the manosphere, and
It'd be like the Pope coming out and saying to the world, hey, Jesus Christ was just a dude. Y'all should get the hell over it on this New Testament thing.
Right. Yeah. Like the New Testament
Okay.
isn't canon, right?
So
that was actually the New Testament
Testament
was actually written by Satan. It's been a
Right.
lie this entire time. The Jews were right. Y'all need to knock it off.
Oh my God. Okay.
Somehow
Now
that's
I'm
going to get
understanding
clipped,
the
Frederick, and you're going to blow up for the second time this week.
Right. Let's make a little snippet of that and just play it and make it go viral. This has been so much fun, you guys.
It
So
has
great.
been.
Thank you,
Well,
Frederick.
Yeah,
into
feel
my
free to
week
clip
for
that
this.
and send it out. Like that, I will take smoke about. I'll be like,
Nice.
oh boy, come on now.
I love it. I love it. Oh my gosh. You two are the best. What the whole whatever chat, we're at 112 now. You all are the best.
I appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. I know you got to get to work. Thank you for everybody tuning
Love
in.
you, man.
We appreciate it. Love
All
you
right.
guys
Love
too.
you all. Mean it.
Love you, mean it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.